and what you've seen, and then we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, obviously it's been exciting to get back out. It's been a roller coaster of a ride so far, and it's still going. But the kids are taking a stride. They're excited, I think, to get out and play. And it's the last 2 days have been fun to get back out and finally put pads back on and actually do something that feels at least a little bit normal. And we're not ready to play. Obviously, we got a long ways to go, a lot of work ahead of us. But it's fun to get back out there.
All right, we'll start off with Jeremy, and then Scott, and then Matt Stevens.
Hey, Rod, hope you're well. I know you need someone to step up in that right guard spot. Just can you tell us a little bit about what you see? Sorry, get my video on. Can you tell us a little bit about what you see out of Vertus Brown, Jordan Slaughter, and if anybody else is in that mix?
Yeah, probably right now, the two you mentioned are the guys that we're kind of trying to get involved, at least to get an initial early look at them, Jordan Slaughter and Vertus Brown. So both those guys are actually repping, and we're letting those guys battle it out. We've even talked about, is there other guys, that need to take a look at Alex Kostrom, even Brevin Jones. I mean, how do we get our best five on the field is the combination of what we're trying to get. So however that may be, whoever that may be, that'll all play itself out, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
Obviously, those guys are in their third years, Jordan and Vertus. What do you want to see out of them, and how have they responded to needing to step up now?
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right. This is year 3 for them. So it is time. It's time for one of them to step up, or both of them. It'd be great if both of them would. And, so it looks like, from my observation so far, they're into it. They're doing the little things. Vertus is staying afterwards and running and getting extra cardio, trying to get himself in the best shape available. Jordan seemed like he's locked in pretty well. So once again, it's early. We're only on day 2 of pads. Actually, it's day 1 of full pads. So we'll see here in the next couple of weeks of how it all plays out.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
All right, Scott Beatty, Matt Stevens, Robert Rosenthal.
Coach Smith, good to see you. 3 tight ends that are pretty talented. Does that open up for some creativity for you? How can you utilize all those guys? And I guess we've only seen Daniel really in action, but how are the other 2 doing as well?
Oh, good question. And, obviously there's some things that we can try to look at to utilize those guys. I mean, I know that, we think we have a pretty good tight end room. So how much we use those guys, to be honest with you, will a lot dictate how much they're showing us that they can handle what we're giving them. If they can handle things and there's not mental bust and they're sharp on what their assignments are, then obviously we can probably do more with them. If not, then we'll scale back and just kind of give them what they can handle. And because that's what it all comes down to. No matter what personnel group you're in, you got to make sure all 11 guys are going the same direction, at the same time. There's no MA. One guy can go home and play. So that's will be the most important part. And then once we get to that part, then how we scheme them up, how we get them on the field and try to utilize them, we'll see. That's to be determined, but we definitely like that room.
Their size gives you new options, perhaps, with in passing situations.
Well, you like to think so. They are big targets, and I know from the Skelly session, but that's really what we've been doing, except for yesterday and today. It's been a lot of Skelly 7-on-7 type passing drills. So they've been impressive in that. But once again, that's like a beauty pageant. There's no hitting, there's no live bullets. So to me, that's not really realistic in terms of what happens when the live bullets get out there. And that, to me, that's what dictates or that tells you what type of players you have. You see when that happens.
Thanks much.
Rod, before we move on, is there a way for you to turn your computer so that you're facing the window? The lighting has made you look like the witness protection program. It's blacked you out. if you could just turn your, I don't know if you can pick up your laptop and put it so that you're facing the window so that the light's on your face.
The lights on my face.
Yeah. So if you could put your computer over there and do your computer from that other side. Yeah.
Maybe I am in witness protection. Kent, you think about that?
I haven't thought about that.
Is that better?
Much better.
I got a face for radio, boys.
I understand.
All right.
All right.
Matt Stevens and then Robert. Unless you're done. Sorry, Scott, are you done?
Just your perspective on the running backs so far with a lot of weapons there.
Yeah, I mean, preliminary outlook of it, when you watch these guys, really excited about that group. I think that group could potentially be as strong, if not stronger, than we had in the past. Mike Epstein's healthy, looking good. We all know what he's capable of. He's got to stay healthy. Chase Brown is a guy that's come in that I think looks really good. I mean, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's picked up our system, so he's looking very sound, very good, I think. Jakari Norwood has been looked really good. I know those three guys have been, the older guys, returners, have been good. Kenyon Sims did some good things as well. Reggie Love has been really impressive as a freshman. He's really doing some good things. And Nick Fidanza, when he's got his opportunities, has actually shown that he could be a pretty good football player. So we like that room. That'll all sort itself out. You won't play all those guys. You'll probably have at least 3 running backs ready to play with, at least initially, and then kind of go from there.
Thanks, Scott. We'll go Matt Stevens and Robert.
Rod, when we go all the way back to bowl prep, and God knows how many healthy wide receivers you had at that point, and now you've got at least, I think, double-digit scholarship players now at that position group. How is it that you can keep everybody happy there, and what is it like to have go from that small to that little or to that big of a group that can help you guys?
Well, first off, we obviously need depth. You have to have it. You're talking about an unconventional season this year where you play 9 straight weeks with no off weeks, no bye weeks. So not only do major injuries come into play, but so do the soft tissue injuries. All those little things that are nagging that are a couple weeks injuries sometimes. So, we got to have bodies ready to play. So it's going to be a positive thing, I think, for us. I feel a lot better about our wide receiver room today than I did, before those guys transferred in here to give us some depth because, I think we got some decent wide receivers. We need more. We need more pieces. And, that was able to address that a little bit. And when they got declared, some of them got declared their eligibility. You said it was best. You now provided some depth to those rooms. So how do you keep them happy? Well, they got to earn the right to play. That's the first thing. They got to make sure they're going the right direction at the right time. And they catch the footballs, the quarterbacks throw to them, right? They do that, then they'll see balls. If not, then they got to work their way in. And I think, all of them got great attitudes, and they'll find a way to get it done.
And specifically, I wanted to ask you about Mike Epstein. He said last year after he got hurt, he was still able to, go to meetings, get his nose in the playbook, and keep, with the club while you guys were winning. I know a lot of injured guys tend to isolate themselves, and the teammates kind of treat them like they're typhoid Mary. Sometimes they don't want to be around an injured guy. How impressed were you that he was able to kind of at least have that kind of maturity and keep himself, active as much as he could with what you guys wanted to do?
Yeah, he's a veteran, man. He understands it. Not just a veteran, but he's a team guy, and he's always put the team ahead of himself. And even when he hasn't had the best luck at times, he's still the guy that's rooting for the teammates, pulling for the teammates, showing up for meetings, doing everything he don't really probably had to do, but he was there, and he's a part of it, taking reps, the mental reps, just like he was. So, yeah, super proud of him. The way he's handled it. He's a consummate professional, and to me, it's paying off for him because mentally it's prepared his mind for when his body got right, and now he's right. So hopefully this it'll pay off for him.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Robert, you're up.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious about no preseason and straight into, first play is against Wisconsin's defense.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, you seem to, use the preseason to maybe try out some things and maybe some deeper rotations at tailback and receiver, and then you settle into your rotations by the time conference. What's your plan this year without having that?
Well, you're right. You don't have an opportunity to knock the rust off per se, to get the kinks out, and hopefully, you don't ever want to be rusty ever too much, right? No matter who you're playing, but it allows you zero time for that. So, we got to be sharp. We got to be crisp with what we're doing, be able to execute, because you're going against probably one of the better teams, if not the best team, in this conference, year in, year out. So they're up there. We was fortunate enough to do some good things against them last year. We could have did some better things, I think. And you got a lot of guys coming back. So hopefully we can lean on some of our offensive linemen, lean on some of the returners, and give some of our new guys, our new influx guys, some support that they may need. Because we're going to need everybody in this game now. We're going to have to play error-free, clean-free, because they're that good of a football team, because they have a bunch of people back. And I know they'll be eager to play this game as well.
Do you think it would tighten your rotations at some spots, like maybe only play 4 or 5 receivers instead of 6 or 7 like you might, or how does that play out?
It could, but I think, Robert, a lot of that depends on how this fall camp goes these next 3 weeks. How much confidence these guys give us that we could roll out there and win with them, Or do we need to, like you said, scale it back a little bit, give them another week of preparation before we throw them out there for a bunch of snaps? So, to me, that's a to-be-determined type decision. But that's definitely a possibility that we could do that as well, just scale it back if we need to.
And then last question, is there any of the freshmen catching your eye so far? I know it's early in 2 days in pads, but anybody catch your eye in the last few days?
Probably the most impressive one would be Reggie Love right now, because Reggie's getting some reps at times and doing some really good things. Deuce Spann has flashed as well at times, but Deuce is a long ways mentally away. We're still learning, but physically he's flashed several times that things you just can't coach. You can't teach. So there's some guys there that I think that have a bright future. But if I had to say, probably Reggie Love off the bat.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Carson, and then Bob, and then Joey.
Hey, Coach. You've coached some pretty good quarterbacks in the past, Pat White, Denard Robinson. What does Brandon Peters give you that they didn't give you, though?
Well, every quarterback, to be honest with you, has their own style, their own skill set. Even though Pat and Denard were similar, they still were a little different, Denard probably had a stronger arm, maybe a little bit better passer. Pat was probably a better runner, as crazy as that sounds. Denard was a faster runner, but Pat had great vision. He was a tremendous competitor. Denard was a great player. But all those guys are a little different. Even though you utilize them some the same, there's some different skill sets and different things you can do. Brandon's different than those guys. Brandon's different than A.J. Bush. Brandon's a guy that can beat you with his arm first. So he's going to beat you with his arm and hopefully his mind first. And then his legs will probably be the next order. Whereas the other guys, sometimes depends on who you're playing with. They might beat you with their legs a little bit more before their arms. You call the game, I think, to the skill set of your quarterback and what he can do. I just think Brandon can make every throw. I think he's got a great arm. He's got a really good mind. And he just got to continue to, like I said, keep developing, keep getting better. He was playing his best football at the end of last year. So I wish he could have went through a spring. That would really help, I think, even more. But at the same time, if there's one guy that doesn't have to have it, it's probably him, because he's playing a lot of football right now.
I asked Coach Smith about his ability with his legs, which kind of it took some by surprise. Is there going to be any more designed run plays for him, or is it going to be mostly just improv for him?
Design run plays? Well, yeah. That would definitely surprise the defense probably if you design run play for Brandon. So that might be something to consider. But there's times where he's more of a read and react. And the defense overcommits and stuff. We didn't do a whole lot of. I can't think of one design quarterback run that I called for him last year. If there was pools because the defensive end overplayed the read or he saw something and just took it himself, that's his option. He has the ability to do that. So I don't know how much we'll actually design quarterback calling, but there's always an opportunity. I guess it depends on how the defense wants to play us, to answer your question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob, you're up, and then Joey, and then Scott Ritchie.
Coach, is it better to be the new guy at Illinois like you were in 18 or the third-year guy like you are now? I'm kind of saying you had the element of surprise 2 years ago that you don't really have now, but you have that experience. So which is better in your mind?
Well, I'm just glad I'm the guy. I'm glad I'm a guy at Illinois. That's the first thing.
Okay.
We enjoy it here, love being here, and love these kids. If I had to answer your question, Bob, in true reality, I would rather have the returning players. To be honest with you, the first year is fine. Yeah, you can sneak up on people or catch people by surprise, but if you're having success, I would much rather have the kid that's had success coming back for another year, even if it's your third year or it's your fifth year, whatever year it is, because there's a familiarity there, and hopefully you can build on, and you stay, knock on wood, stay healthy throughout the season and be able to build on what was laid the year before that.
I know you're not new to the Big Ten, but does it help you to have a better understanding of the conference going forward now, like in your third year? Do you have a better read on Wisconsin and everybody you're going to play?
Well, I think everybody does. The more you play somebody, the more you get familiar with them. It's like our defense. You go against our defense every day. It's, there's tendencies, there's tells, there's things that they know about you that you do by certain things. So I think the more you get around people, the longer you're in a situation, the better off you become familiar with things. So absolutely can help.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Joey, Scott Ritchie, and then Matt Stevens has a follow-up.
Hey, Rod, how are you?
Oh, good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing. You mentioned the depth at wide receiver, but there's also seems to be a little bit of versatility. I mean, you got guys who are fast and can really burn, and you got guys who can really, seems like high point a ball. What does that allow you to do with just that kind of wide variety of guys at that position?
Well, a lot of it, Scott, depends on so much how you match up, right? I mean, how you match up against the defense and the personnel you're playing that week, and what type of defense they're playing. If it's a man team, zone pressure team, whatever. So how you dictate, how you decide to set things up is what gives you kids the best advantage. If we have a height advantage and, maybe we don't have a speed advantage, a height advantage, then we need to do things that allow our big receivers to get involved, whether we throw back shoulders or throw it up in the air a little bit more on the high, I tell our quarterbacks to quit overthrowing deep ball. We should never overthrow a deep ball, right? You're going to miss short and outside. So you go back and be a basketball player and rebound thing. You don't use your size. The worst thing you do is overthrow a deep ball. It's like hitting a damn home run that goes foul, right? It looks pretty, but what's it worth? Nothing, right? So that's exactly how we try to talk to our quarterback. So absolutely. We like to try to take advantage of size and things like that with our big receivers. Then with our faster guys, can we get them out in space? Can we get them with quick screens? Can we get them with quick option routes, things of that nature to allow them to utilize their skill set? So absolutely. All that type of stuff you look at and how do you match up and how do you formation it and help your team go against whoever you're playing.
And then, it's been a little bit since Illinois has had a guy like Brandon to come back for, start 2 seasons in a row in that season opener. In your system, obviously there's a comfort level, but what does it allow you to do to have a returning quarterback? Is there more dialogue? Are you trying new plays? I mean, what's that look like specifically for you?
We've tried to expand. We've tried to do some more things. Didn't look very good today. So that didn't give me a lot of hope today, but it's early. We still got time. We've tried to expand some things with him in the throw game and some of the stuff that we're running. Just because there's a familiarity there. As long as the quarterback can handle it, The wideouts can handle it mentally. We can block it up front, secure protection up front. Then why not? Why not try to expand what you're doing? But the most important thing, Scott, is can you execute? That's the most important. It don't matter how much you know. It don't matter how much I know. I can give them 50 different route combinations, but if I'm not throwing it, I'm not catching it. And if our kids can't do it, then we got to scale things back and give our guys a chance to win. That, to me, that's the key. That's the key to coaching is how much can you put on their plate without overloading them, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to figure out right now.
What have you noticed out of Brandon in year two? I mean, I guess 14 months ago and 15 months ago, I guess, when he first kind of landed on campus.
Yeah. There's more dialogue between me and him now, in between the play. So when the play happens, I get more feedback from him now. Whereas I used to ask him a question, he would tell me, and I was checking to see if he was seeing the right things or seeing the same things that I'm seeing. Now there's more dialogue. He sees things as I'm seeing it, plus he's adding on different pieces, which is a good thing. So that tells me he understands what's going on. He understands a lot more in depth of what we're trying to get done. And when your quarterback has a control of that and understands what we're doing, it usually tends to lead to good results. So hopefully we continue to keep doing that.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, Scott Ritchie, and then Matt Stevens to finish up.
Hey, Rod. You mentioned obviously the uniqueness of this season. Playing 9 games in 9 weeks. Is that, or will that change maybe how you manage maybe Brandon or some of your other skill position players throughout the season, or do you just have to treat it as normal and hope you have the depth in case something happens?
No, I think, Scott, we gotta be strategic with how we handle our guys. The volume, the rep loading has got to be smart because if you ever come to what you guys have been to our practice, we get a lot of snaps in, we get a lot of plays. We'll get damn near over 100 plays a day, and that's a ball game. So you do that 5 days a week. That's 5 ball games you play in the course of a week. So we got to make sure that our kids we monitor their reps, how much they're running, and all that type of stuff. And because it's a shortened season, but it's going to be a long season because there's no breaks. And we're one of the teams that, in my opinion, that your best guys need to be on the field. So we got to make sure we find every way to manage those guys in practice, that they're still getting the reps they need, they still get the work they need, but we're not overusing them, overworking them, and wearing them down as the season goes on.
I guess, how are the rest of your QBs looking, just as a group?
Yeah, today, if you're asking about today wasn't very good for any of them, so, which was disappointing. But at the same time, prior to that, they've been doing very well. Today was an off day. We didn't play very well any place, so we got to get all that corrected today in film. But prior to today, I thought they are better. They understand coverages. They understand defense is much better. They understand spaces and timing a lot better. We're reading coverages much better. So that's been positive until today. Today was the day we took a step back. So we got to get that fixed here later on this evening.
Thanks, Fred.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap up with Matt into your follow-up.
Yeah, Rod, I just wanted to ask you quickly about Isaiah. Knowing that he didn't get the spring, that's usually, really, really important for development between his first fall and that spring.
Yeah.
What are the expectations for him? And how does that hurt his development, not having that spring?
Yeah, well, it not just hurts him, it hurts all of them, to be honest with you. Brandon Peters would have loved to have a spring. I'd have loved to have a spring with Brandon, The one positive thing, Matt, is that when you went to the bowl game, you got those 15 extra practices. So you was able to at least get those in. Those were extra work with him. Karan, same way, all those guys. Matt, they needed all this. But Isaiah has gotten better, and he's took it upon himself to get thicker, to get bigger, so he can withstand some punishment a little bit. I think he got beat around a little bit. I was strategic in how we used him last year because I wanted to make sure he was ready. And we wanted to preserve his red shirt. for down the road. But he got banged up when he went in. He knew he had to get stronger. He's got to be able to take some pounding, and that wasn't a lot of reps. He still got beat up. So he knows he had to get stronger and thicker. He's did that. He's one of the smarter guys in the room from a cognitive standpoint. He knows what he's doing. He can get on the board. He can walk it. He can talk it. He can teach it, which is really, really impressive. So all those things are coming. It's just a matter of him continuing to get reps and continuing getting comfortable with his offensive line and seeing defensive players move in space, offensive players move in space and getting open for him. It's just reps is all it is. And that's what he's in the process of right now. He's doing good, though.
Thanks, Rod. I appreciate it.
All right, Rod, you can go back into witness protection, turn your
Oh,
computer back around. Appreciate you doing that. The television guys are greatly appreciative of you being able to see your face with the light. So
I appreciate that. Good bunch of guys. Y'all take care.
all right, thanks,
Rod.
Coach.
See y'all.
For the media still on, just reminder, we'll have 2 players tomorrow. No Coach Lovey Smith, and then we'll reconvene on Monday. Brett will be sending out some information on that. So any questions before we end this session? All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, KB.